All right, this is part 6 of the Covenant, the New Covenant, which is made at Passover, and unleavened bread. And, of course, we've covered that unleavened bread is bad doctrine, bad teachings, and you have to throw them out. You have to get them out of your house and out of your life. Like the 13th Apostle Paul, if you can't get rid of that, well, you love a lie, because he teaches lies. You don't have to be circumcised, he says, and you do. You can eat meat sacrificed unto idols, he teaches in 1 Corinthians 8, and you can't. It's a death penalty offense. And there's a bunch of others. The law has been done away with, or keep the law. He says both. Talks out of both sides of his mouth. Same thing with the rabbi, same thing with the pope, and the catechism, or the Talmud, and the Midrash, and the Mishnah, or, whatever religion you're picking, if it goes contrary to this law. Well, going on here in Exodus 7, the blood of the covenant. This is why it's done with blood here, too, the token and whatnot. We covered previously. Exodus 12:7, they shall take the blood, this is the blood from the lamb that you kill this year on March 31st at sundown, or just after, and strike it on the two side posts in the upper door of the post wherein they shall eat. And the blood shall be for a token, or a sign, or a distinguishing mark, the definition says here in BDB definitions, which is important coming up here. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Well, we have a big smiting coming on for America, and you might want to have the mark of this applied to you. And this is coming up. Set a mark on them. Ezekiel talks about this, and I was just discovering that this Sabbath. I put my feet up and was resting, and like I'm commanded to do, and was reading through Ezekiel and covering some fascinating stuff here about it. First, there's an angel that goes through and marks in Ezekiel 9:4. Yahuwah says, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. I think the city he's talking about is USA, New York and whatnot. Going on, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. That's the way it is over here. When you set your heart to really contemplating it, it can bring tears to your eyes, and you sure can sigh for all of the abominations that all these Christians and Catholics and Jews and everybody else over here do. It's, I don't want to go into them all. I've ranted about them enough. Going on, 9:2, behold, 6 men came from the higher gate, which lies toward the north. Now, we're up here in the north, the house of Israel, USA. Every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. I kind of wonder if these are the 6, seals or 6 things mentioned in Revelation. One among them was clothed with linen, with the writer's inkhorns. This is the 7th. And the other said in my hearing, go you after him through the city and smite, let not your eye spare. This is the big sword that's coming upon America and Jerusalem over there. We both get it at the same time, the house of Israel and the house of Judah. And he says, neither have pity, slay utterly old, young, both maids and little children and women. So when this comes, it's going to be killing everybody. This is World War III. And the big slayer, the big red horse of Revelation, which has the big sword, is Russia and Turkey and the other two that join them, Syria and Iran. Primarily Russia is the big... When we get nuked, it's going to kill everybody. Going on, but come not near to any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. So he puts this mark on you, this token. And the prior one was at Passover, and it was on the house. I think this one's going to be right on us. But when do you get this? I think this is talking about at Passover. This is the covenant. In fact, that's what he says in Psalm 50 we read already. That he gathers the saints that have made a covenant with a slaughter. With a slaughter. 9:7, he set them to defile the house of courts and plain go forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass when they were slaying them, I was left. I fell upon my face and cried, Yahuwah God, will you destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? This is really a bad time coming. Really a bad time. Jerusalem's going to get attacked over there too, and they're surrounded by armies about now. They're fighting against Syria and Damascus, and Turkey is gathering together 57 Arab countries to go fight against Jerusalem because we've announced that our USA has announced that they're putting their embassy in Jerusalem. So the USA and the House of Judah, Jerusalem, are claiming Jerusalem as theirs, and this is torching off the fight. And when they get these 57 Arab countries, they listed them all the stands and Pakistan and all the rest of them. We got some Egypt and all over throughout there. When they all come up against Jerusalem, it's going to go real bad for us too. We get nuked. We attack Damascus and Ephraim. America gets cut off. I cover that in another one. Well, he's crying because he's saying, are you going to destroy all the residue? Is everybody going to be killed here? Everybody doesn't get killed. There's a remnant, but it sure is bad. What's coming up is... And a lot of people, you think you're going to be wiped out right at the beginning. I think there's an awful lot of suffering coming too. A lot of people are going to be radiated to death or starved to death. Or the troops will come through and get you. Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. The land is full of blood. Oh, we sure is full of blood. We're stealing children. We're killing them with the 70 million abortions. We're attacking all these other countries like Libya and Afghanistan and everything. We've got to make sure those poppy seeds grow over there. Going on, the city is full of perverseness, and they stay thereon. Yeah, we have all kinds of perverseness here. And Yahuwah has forsaken the earth, Yahuwah sees not. That's what they say. People think that Yahuwah doesn't see what's going on over here. He sees. He sees your cedar meals. He sees your fertility goddess day, bunnies and rabbits. As for me, my eye shall not spare, and neither will I have pity. I will recompense their way upon their head. So that's what's coming. And here's the whole story from Ezekiel. Because you have to get the context to understand. And he goes on to talk about this covenant. I think that mark that he's talking about, that angel, the people that get marked are the ones that keep his laws, that are striving to keep his laws. And all of them, all the statutes, all the judgments, not just parsing it like different religious Christians do or certain guys do. All of them. And you probably ought to start with the death penalty offenses first. I cover that in another recording you can look up out there. It's called the 49 death penalty sins. Because John says there are sins that are unto death and sins that are not unto death. You probably ought to start with the ones that are unto death. But you ought to do all of them. Any that you can do, well, do it. Yeah, if you can do it, do it. Some people say, we don't need to do that anymore. No, if you can wear zeet, wear them. If you can grow your beard, well, grow it. I don't know. If you can wear what he tells you to wear, eat what he tells you to eat, some of them get you cut off. Pork and shellfish and the mouse, the abominations, that get you killed. Read the end of Isaiah. So I think I'll start with the death penalty statutes first. Going on here. Ezekiel 7, to set up, because we just read, the angel goes through and marks people. And if you're not marked, he's out to kill you. That's what this is all about. He's out to destroy the sinners out of his people. It says that in Amos. We'll cover that coming up. But he says here in 7:2, Son of man, thus says Yahuwah God unto the land of Israel, the end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now the end is come. I will set my anger upon you and judge you according to your ways. So I'm not making this up. The four corners of the land over here, we're the house of Israel. People don't know that. A lot of people don't. But I will recompense upon you and all your abominations. And we've legalized all the abominations. Sodomite marriage, dishonest money, abortion, taking down prayer out of school, and 10 Commandments and all. Those are all abominations. I cover it in another talk. My eye shall not spare. We've done it legally, by law. 1963, 1973, on and on. My eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense their ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah God, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come. It watches for you. Behold, it is come. You gather that? It watches for you. For you Americans and Great Britons and Jewish guys, this is watching for you. This end. And this is the end. This is the great judgment. This is it. This is like the song of what's his name? This is it. Kenny Loggins. This is it. Your back's against the corner. This is it. It watches for you. For people that are just sinners, he's out to destroy the sinners. And this is the time where he doesn't want the sinners to make it through. He's had mercy and long-suffering with us for a long time. I covered that in a prior one. Well, that's what it starts off with. And this sets it up to let you know this is the end of America. We're going to be nuked, and no one's going to ever live here anymore. You can read that in Isaiah and Jeremiah. I covered that previously. Why? Because of the abominations. Chapter 8. He puts forth the hand, he took me by the lock of the head, and he lifts up to the inner gate, and he looks north, and the seat of the image of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy. Now where is to the north of Jerusalem done it? Well, America is. We're up here in the north. And what's at our gate? The Statue of Liberty. Right? Behold the glory of God I saw there. According to the vision I saw in the plain, I saw him lift up your eyes to the north. So I lifted up my eyes toward the north, and behold northward at the gate of the altar this image of jealousy in the entry. Well, what's the entry to the USA? Well, Ellis Island. Ellis Island. And what's on Ellis Island? The Statue of Liberty. It's right there. It's right off of Ellis Island. You can see when you go take a tour up there sometime. If I wouldn't go do it now, man, it's about ready to get wiped out up there. You got the Statue of Liberty, which is Easter, Ishtar, which we got Easter from. Big fertility goddess. Standing up there with a torch and all that. Liberty. You're at liberty to do whatever you want. You ladies, you're at liberty to divorce a whole ton of times over here. And you kids, you're at liberty to, backtalk mom and dad all you want. That's what this liberty is turned into. You're at liberty to do any kind of perversion you want over here, right? Any kind of perversion can get married now. Going on, he says, further unto me, son of man. Yeah, so that's I think that's what he's talking about here. That's one of the abominations. We're not supposed to have any graven images. Well, that certainly is an abomination one. He said further, see what you the great abominations of the house of Israel shall go far off from my sanctuary. We're the sanctuary. America's the sanctuary. Been the greatest one for about 300 or 400 years. Turn thee yet again, and you shall see greater abominations. Ezekiel 10. So I went and saw, behold, every creeping thing, abominable beast in the house. Oh, yeah, they portrayed upon the walls round about. Yeah, these are statues and religious relics, Jesus, Mary, crosses, the Star of David, all that stuff. And these abominable beasts, people eat that stuff over here. All the religions we're talking about, they all eat all this stuff. Shellfish, pork, anything. And, hot dogs. They probably have mice in there. Going on. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients in the house of Israel. In the midst of them stood Yazaniah. That's Yah hears. That's what that means. And the son of Shaphan. Shaphan is rabbit. It's spelled the same way and translated rabbit in other places, or coney. So he's saying Yah hears and rabbit. Well, that struck me as Easter, because that's the symbol for Easter. With every man the censer in his hand in thick clouds, because I don't know, the Shaphan doesn't fit in here. It could be dual in meaning. I don't know, you can decide. But that's what that means, is rabbit, a rock rabbit. The Son of Man has seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark. Every man has chambers of imagery. These chambers of imagery, that's a movie theater, TV, living room screens, and all that, right? They say Yahuwah sees us not. Yahuwah has forsaken the earth. And that's what people think. They think, oh, he's not doing Christians. No, he's just off. He's not doing anything anymore. And greater abominations they do. And they go on to tell the rest of these abominations. They sat there and weep for Tammuz. They do sun worship. They worship the sun. Their backs toward Yahuwah. They turn from Yahuwah. And they do Sunday. That's what they're doing. Sunrise, Easter service, solstice, Christmas. That's when the sun goes lowest. And the halo, that's the sun disk. That's what he's talking about in all this right here in Ezekiel in chapter 8. And that's why he's going to deal out fury, he says here in 8:18. We'll pick it up there next time. Hallelujah. All right, this is part 6 of the Covenant.